Filtering data is also very handy in Access. For example, I have the products table open. One way that you can filter, because there's a variety of ways, is you could click in, say, supplier, and then you could hit the selection button in the ribbon. If I choose the selection button, I can say, give me all the ones who equal exotic liquids, because that just happens to be the supplier I'm sitting on. If I hit this option here, it filters out the 3 records from this particular supplier. If I want to remove the filter, I can hit the toggle filter button and remove the filter. If I want to choose a certain beverage, category called beverages, I'll click on beverages, I'll go back to selection, and I'll say equals beverages. But notice I also have does not equal beverages, contains beverages, or does not contain beverages. So to be different, if I choose does not equal beverages, then that's all the categories, but beverages is excluded. I can then hit the toggle filter button to remove the filter, but notice also down here that filtered has suddenly appeared orange. If I click this option, I also remove the filter. Besides actually using the selection button and choosing what I do and don't want to filter, I can also hit the drop down on various column headings. If I hit the drop down on supplier, I can then tick and untick the suppliers I wish to filter. For example, I might unselect all and just choose these first 3. If I then go OK, I've filtered out those first 3 suppliers, and I can remove the filter. If I go to category, I can hit the drop down, I can unselect all, and I can choose certain categories. So I might choose the first 5, and OK. And I've filtered out the first 5 categories. And this filter button here tells me there's a filter currently on place, and this little symbol here also indicates that there's currently a filter in place. And if I rest on it, it actually tells me. I can continue to filter my data. Not only am I after those categories, but I might be also after just certain suppliers within those categories. So I'll hit the drop down on supplier, unselect all, and maybe choose the first 5. And OK. So these are the first 5 suppliers supplying the first 5 categories. If I want to clear, I just hit the toggle filter. So you can continue to filter and filter and filter until you get down to the subset you're after. So I'll toggle and remove the filter. Besides hitting the drop down and ticking what you do and don't want, there are also various text filters. For example, if I choose text filters, I could say begins with, and I'm after all the suppliers who begin with P. And OK. And all these suppliers have a supplier name that begins with P, and I can remove the filter. If it's not a text field that I'm sitting on, but in fact a number field, I can hit the drop down, say on unit price, and I can go to number filters, and I could choose perhaps greater than. And I could ask for all those products that have a unit price greater than 25. And when I click OK, it's filtered all the products that have a unit price greater than 25. And I can remove the filter. You can also apply an advanced filter. If I click the advanced button, I can filter by form. If I filter by form, I can clear the last criteria by pressing the delete key. And then I can choose perhaps a certain supplier, maybe the first one. If I then go to advanced and actually choose to filter by form, or apply the filter I should say, then I'll actually get the products that the supplier supplies. If I wish to extend my advanced filter, I'll go back to advanced and I'll go back to filter by form. I've chosen this particular supplier, but at the bottom I could choose or and choose another supplier, Bigfoot Breweries. And I could go or and choose a third supplier. When I go to advanced and I apply the filter, I'm seeing those records supplied by those 3 suppliers. If I then hit the toggle filter, I can clear my filter. So filtering is very, very useful and very, very easy to use just by hitting the drop down on column headings and choosing text filters or number filters or date filters, or ticking and unticking what you do and don't want, or simply by using the selection button or the advanced button. You've also got this particular button here. This particular button here is simply the same as hitting the drop down on a column heading. So if I'm sitting in a column and I hit this button, it's the same as if I'd hit this drop down here. And that's the filtering side.